There's a Greek word in the Gospels that is used only 5 times in the entire New Testament. 5. And almost every time it appears, it describes demons encountering Jesus. But once, that same word is used when a crowd demands his crucifixion. Same word. Why? Hey, I'm Lone Lara, and this is Discerning Disciple, where we examine Scripture carefully so we can discern it rightly, apply it faithfully in everyday life, and ultimately glorify God. Now, let's look at it. The word is Anakrazō. It means to cry out loudly, to shriek, to scream in agitation or confrontation. And again, it appears only 5 times in the New Testament. Let's look at where it shows up. Mark 1:23-24. Just then there was a man in their synagogue with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, "What business do you have with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." That phrase, "he cried out," is Anakrazō. But notice what the demon says. "Have you come to destroy us?" That's not confusion. That's recognition. The demon identifies Jesus correctly, the Holy One of God, and he understands that Christ's presence means judgment. He knows who is standing in front of him. He knows the authority. He knows their destruction is at hand. The cry is not ignorance, it's dread. Luke records the same encounter in Luke 4:33-34. In the synagogue there was a man possessed by a spirit of an unclean demon, and he cried out with a loud voice, "Let us alone! What business do you have with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Same word, same recognition, same fear of judgment. Then in Luke 8, when Jesus encounters Legion, and seeing Jesus, he cried out and fell before him and said with a loud voice, "What business do you have with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me." Again, Anakrazō. 3 of the 5 uses, all describing demonic encounters where Christ's authority forces a reaction. The 4th use appears in Mark 6:49. But when they saw him walking on the sea, they supposed that it was a ghost, and cried out, for they all saw him and were terrified. Same word. Not rebellion, but fear. Their faith was real, but it was cloudy. They had seen him teach, they had seen him heal, they had seen him cast out demons. But in the storm, they forgot what they already knew. And when Christ's power broke into their fear, they cried out. Again, Christ's authority is revealed, and a reaction follows. Now, watch this. Luke 23:18. But they cried out all together, saying, "Away with this man, and release to us Barabbas." That cried out is Anakrazō. But don't miss what they're asking. Barabbas was not misunderstood. He was not falsely accused. He was guilty of the very crimes Jesus was being accused of: insurrection and violence. And the one standing before them, truly innocent. No rebellion, no violence, no sin. Yet in their cry, they choose to release the guilty and send away the innocent. Out of the only 5 uses in the entire New Testament, Luke uses this word to describe that moment. The same word used for demons who recognize Christ's authority and fear destruction is used for a crowd demanding the removal of the only true righteous man in front of them. Now, in Luke 23:21, the verb changes. They kept crying out, saying, "Crucify, crucify him." It's not the same word, but the hysteria intensifies. The agitation escalates. The frenzy grows. So here's the pattern. Every time Anakrazō appears, Christ's authority is present, and something is exposed. Demons dread, disciples fear through cloudy faith, crowds, their rejection and moral inversion. But never neutrality. And, well, if you want to grow in discerning Scripture so you can apply it faithfully in your everyday life and ultimately glorify God, hey, consider subscribing. That's what this channel exists to do. Now, whenever Christ's authority is revealed, indifference disappears. Some worship, some panic, some rebel. But no one remains unaffected. And that matters for us. When Christ is proclaimed publicly, reactions happen. Sometimes calm, sometimes hostile, sometimes loud. But reaction doesn't mean failure. Reaction often means exposure. Let me be clear. I'm not saying everyone who reacts strongly is demon-possessed. What I am saying is this. When Christ confronts the human heart, response is inevitable. So what does that mean for us? If Christ's authority provoked reaction in his presence, it may provoke reaction when his truth is spoken through you. When you share the gospel and someone becomes agitated, when you speak the truth and someone mocks, when you defend scripture and someone lashes out, do not mistake reaction for defeat. Demons cried out because they knew who he was. The disciples cried out because their faith was still being refined. The crowd cried out because they rejected who he was. But in every case, he was still Lord. And he still is. So be brave. Not harsh, not combative, but courageous. Speak the truth. Preach the word. Share Christ clearly in love and in truth. And when resistance comes, stand firm, because the authority isn't yours. It's his. You're not responsible for the reaction. You are responsible for obedience. So don't shrink back. Don't soften truth to avoid discomfort. Don't silence yourself because the crowd gets loud. Crowds once cried out against him. But the cross was not the end of the story, and it never will be. Stand firm in truth. Discern scripture carefully. Apply it faithfully. And ultimately, glorify God. Stay discerning, friends.